Hello friends, welcome back to Node.js tutorial. In this video we are going to discuss about how to connect MySQL with Node.js, right? So this is the points we will discuss in this topic. So basically we will install MySQL package into Node, and then we will create database and we will create tables, and then we will connect MySQL with Node.js, and we will do all the queries like insert, update, select, delete, also the joining concept. So this tutorial will be the complete MySQL database with Node.js, right? So keep enjoy this tutorial, and if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel for more video like this, right? So this is a fresh folder. This is the Node project. So we'll create project. So we'll discuss about the npm and we will discuss about the package.json. So let's start. So first let's start with initialization of npm, right? So to initialize any npm, actually npm is the Node package manager. By npm we can install all the package related to the Node application, right? So npm, and let's initialize this. So to initialize npm, let's enter, and it will ask some question, basically the package name. So here I just going to create a package like Node project, right? So if you don't write the Node project, then by default it will take this, because we have created the folder Node project. So you can ignore it, or you can write your package name, and then the version, always it will start from the version 1. Actually these are maintaining when development is going, and it's ongoing process, and will release the version step by step. Then we can set the version also, and then enter description, Node and MySQL complete tutorial. So just enter this, and entry point, this will be the index.js. So I will create index.js separately. So for now this will be the entry point. So I just setting in the package.json, and test command, if you want to set you can set, and git repository, if you want to put your application into any git repository you can directly link into here. And keywords, any kind of keywords you can write for your application, and the author, here you can write learning points. So this will be the author of this package, and the license, so by default it is ISC. If you want to write your own license key you can write. And then finally it will asking about to write package.json, is it okay? So if okay, then write yes. By entering yes, it will basically create a file that is package.json, and if you check here you can see the all the details you just enter you can display here, right? So now here you can see the main is index.js. basically this will be our entry. So just create a index.js, and we will develop all the things here. And here you can see case.json, how package.json is managing your project. So basically when you install any package, basically it will create node modules and will track all the package which I installed into our application, right? So for now I need MySQL. So let's see how we can install MySQL into your application. Simply just go to the browser and write MySQL for Node, right? So it will redirect to the npmjs.com. basically what kind of package will get from here, and this is the installation process, npm I mysql. So simple, just copy this thing and paste this here, right? So it will install MySQL into your application. So just enter this. So added 11 package and audited 12 package, but the thing is the MySQL installed. So if you just go into the package.json, you can see the MySQL 2.18.1 is installed into your application. And how you will get this? You will get inside the node modules. So if you check inside the node modules, you will get this MySQL. But the thing is, why this type of large folder, means there are lots of folder including MySQL. I just installed MySQL, but why this kind of files is there? Actually for installing MySQL they need some dependencies, and when there is found any dependencies it will also install. And how you know that? What is the dependency? So there is another file, package-lock.json. so just click on this, and here you can see this is all the package detail, right? So this is the package, and here you can see your MySQL will install definitely. So if you just check here, there is definitely a MySQL, and here you can see there is all the dependencies it will install along with this, right? So for this reason there is lots of folder, right? So I already discussed about npm in our previous video. So if you don't see this, the full Node.js playlist are provided in the description sections. You can find from here, right? So just close this and just close the package.json also. Now we'll concentrate on connection of MySQL. So here we already installed MySQL. I already seen you into the package.json. So how we can access the MySQL? So simply create a constant variable. Suppose let's create a MySQL, and here just include MySQL in this way, right? So by using this require MySQL, we are getting all the MySQL property into here with this MySQL variable, right? So MySQL installed. Now I just want to create a connection. Simply let's create another variable. Let's use constant con. This is the short form. By using this we can connect. So simply just use the MySQL object and MySQL dot create connection. So this is the method. By using this method we can connect with MySQL database, right? And here we need to use the property like host name, and simply just write a username. So in this way user, and then password if you want. If you have password you can use this, and the final thing is database, right? So let's create first. The host name is localhost, and here my username is root, and my password, sorry, there will be a comma not semicolon, and my password is abcd123 @ right? And here my database is, suppose I will create a node project. This is the database. I want to create a database first. So just go here and let's open my localhost php myadmin. So just enter with my password, and here we'll create a database. So simply create node project, and I want to create a table also. Suppose my table name is students. Okay, so just 4 column. Okay, no problem, this 4, and let's add the id, and this value is suppose 10, and it is also a primary key and auto increment, right? So just set this, just as we are using, as we are know basic things of MySQL. So I am just creating this first. So simply id name, and suppose I want to take email also, and another column is there. So simply write phone. Okay, and the varchar 255, let's make this null. Okay, no, I am checking in the email and phone section, and I want to say the name is mandatory, right? So you can check null also. So I am not going to discuss about the validation here. I just want to insert, update, delete some data, and view some data. So simply write varchar 255. Here also just write varchar 255. Okay, so just save this, and it will actually create a tables with 4 columns, right? So our database is created and one table is created. Now we need to connect with this database. So how we can connect this? So actually this will connect the database. Simple. Now just check here whether the database connection is done or not. Just go here and check if the connection, or simply in this way write con, this is the object connect. Okay, and let's use here if there is any error. This is the caller function. If there is any error, it will basically throw the error. Otherwise we can say the database is connected. So simply write if error, then just print the error or throw the error. So simply throw error, otherwise just write console.log database connected. Right, so let's check whether database is connected or not, and just go to the terminal and let's clear this and write node to run any node.js or JS file. You need to use node and the file name index.js. Enter this, database connected. That means successfully connected with MySQL. Right, now let's fetch some data or insert some data. So as we check in the students table, we don't have any data. So first we insert some data and then we can think about fetch or actually select, and then we'll update, then we'll delete. Right, so now how to insert some data. So I want to insert some data into the students table. So just go into the Visual Studio Code, and this section we are getting the database connected successfully. So I don't want to see this again, and I just removing this thing, and instead of these things I just want to write our query. So simply just write our query, that is let SQL, and here we'll write our insert query, and here how to execute the query. So con dot query, right, and here we can pass our SQL, which I just going to execute, and there is also a callback function. One is error and one is a response, or you can say the result. Right, so let's use res simply. Okay, and inside here, and we'll do the same things. If anything error, will throw error, otherwise we can console the result. Right, so simple console log the result or response, anything you can say. Right, so here we need to write our query. So what is the query actually? So simply SQL query. So insert into the table name. So here my table name is students. So just copy this and let's add the column name. So here my column name is name, email, phone. Simple. So simply write name. So in this way we can write name, just like simple MySQL query, name, email, and just write the phone. So simply write phone, close this, and then add some value. So simply write values and then pass the value. So simply write, first I want to add the name is suppose John, and then email is john@email.com, john@email.com, and then I want to say the phone. So simply just pass the phone. So simple random number. Right, so not so big. Right, so now just execute this and let's see whether the value is inserted or not, and we can get a response. Right, so simply just close this again and rerun. So we are getting okay, that means it's installed and the affected rows is 1. Right, and insert ID also 1. So if you just go here and check, let's see, 1 record is inserted. Now if I just want to see the last inserted ID, simply we can copy this and we can paste here. So we'll get the last inserted ID. So just write and simply write 1 is the last inserted ID. Right, sometimes we need to get the last inserted ID which actually just inserted. So we will get by using res.inserted ID. So we have these kind of options. So we can see the field count, affected rows, and server status, and inserted ID. All those things we can use. So simply just rename one thing and like David, and david@email.com, and let's change some phone number, and let's run this again and let's see. So 2 is the last inserted ID. If you check, you will get the same. Right, so 2 is inserted. So this is the one kind of insertion. And if you want to add bulk insertion at a time, so how can we do this? So this can be also possible. So here, instead of these things, simple just remove that and just make a question mark, and here we can set the values in the new variable, right? So let and take a value, right? So this will be the value array. Actually we want to set multiple value at a time, so we can take in an array also, and here simply write the value. Actually we are passing this value, and inside here we can create another different array. So suppose for name just write Amal, and Amal, and for email just write amal@email.com, and simply just write here phone number, and another, suppose if I just want to add, suppose Mike, and the email is mike@email.com, or the phone number is something right, and I want to add another. So this is the last one I just want to add, and Sonia, and the email is sonia@email.com, and phone number some random number, right? This is the phone number. So now if I just execute, it will insert multiple data at a time, and now here we can print the affected rows, so that we can understand how many rows actually inserted, right? res.affected rows are inserted. Okay, so you can understand why and how we can use this return. So simply just go here and let's clear this and run this again. So 3 are inserted. Actually wrongly I entered these things, that's the reason it's getting. So 3 are inserted. So if you just check, you can see there is 5 record already inserted, right? So basically in the 2 ways we can insert, and one is a single insert and another is a bulk insertion. So now the thing is how we can fetch data from the Node.js or from the MySQL, right? So to fetch data, simply just write a query to get the data. So I think all know how to fetch data. So simply just write a syntax or query to fetch a record. So simply write select star from students. So this is the table name, and let's see the response. So what is response coming now? Just go here and close this and restart this. So we are getting all the records, right? So very simple way, and this is the 5 records we are getting. And if you want to suppose if you want to get the record for ID, then we can add a where clause. So this is the where ID equal to 3. So now let's run again, and you can see only the records are getting which ID is 3. And if you want to search, suppose like name like, and simply write wildcards actually, and here just fetch anything. Suppose there is a value inside name A, right? And let's see what appear, and just close this and paste. So we are getting only 3 records. Actually David have A, Amul have A, Sonia have A, right? So we are getting. So this is all about MySQL concept. And if you just want to order these things, you can order by name, by ID, anything about ascending, descending, right? So simply I just going to order by ID with descending order. So now just run this again, and we are getting the first ID on the top and then here, right? And simply if I just want to fetch only ID and name, then we'll get in this way. So only ID and name and getting, right? So this is all about the select statement. Now the thing is, if I want to update some data, so here you can see the from id 1 there is name John, so I want to make John to Johnny, right? So how can I do this? So simply just go here and write update query, update, the table name is students, and I want to set a value for name, so name equal to suppose Johnny, and where, so I want to say where id equal to 1, right? And simply let's clear this again, and these are getting right. So affected rows is 1, that means it's updated, and these are change rows 1. So if you run this again, actually it will not affect again because already there is Johnny. So let's see this, and here you can see Johnny, and still I want to add the Johnny, so I think it will be no affected rows. So here you can see the change rows is 0, right? So SQL is correct, but there is no anything to change, so the change is 0, right? So in this way we can update. And simply if I just going to delete something, so delete from in this way, so write delete, just change the SQL query, delete from the students table where id equal to 1, right? So just write this, and let's right, okay, and affected rows is 1. So if you just go here and refresh, so 1 is delete. So this is basically all about insert, update, delete and view in MySQL with Node.js, right? So now I want to create another table and I want to do joining operation. So how we can do this? So now just create another table. So simply just create table, suppose department, right? So department table, and let's have 2 columns only, and here simply write id and name, right? So I just want to make the relations between students and department, and simply write 255. I just want to enter some manual data so that it will take some time, because already we know how we can insert, update, delete data, and this is the department table. So let's insert some data, suppose write computer department, so simply computer, then write suppose civil, and then insert mechanical, and the last one I just want to add 4, and this is electrical. Okay, so 4 records are inserted, and let's see, so 1 2 3 4, and let's go here and into the students table and create another columns, and let's use department id, and this will be 10. Okay, and by default it's null, right? And let's insert some data. So we have 1 2 3 4 this type of id, so simply write 1 or 2 anything, right? And 3 and 2. Okay, I am not going to allocate any students into department 4, so we can understand how the left join, route join working, right? And I want to insert some data, so just here write here John, and this is john@email.com, and this is the number, and I want to make the null, so I don't want to allocate John into any department, right? So basically we'll create a joining operation. So simply just do here join.js. I just want to display the joining into the different JS, and the purpose is, so I want to make a module structure. So now the basic things are common, so just copy these, and the thing is, the different thing is the query, right? But the thing is, why I create a separate join.js, I want to show you the modular concept, right? So actually if you check index.js and join.js, So both have, these things are very common, right? So why we use these things every time I want to create a separate file, and in that file we have the database connections and we can access that from every files, right? So how we can do this? Simple, just create a connection.js, right? And here I just want to set all the connections, okay, and the MySQL package also, right? And I just going to remove these things also, so I don't need this. So what actually I need to access the connection.js from my file. So how can I do this? Simply just constant, and let's create a connection. This is a con, actually we are using con, so we are using the con here, and simply require and the file name, right? So what is the file name? Actually dot slash, so here inside invite dot slash connection, okay? So just include connection, every place just include connection, it will connect into your database, right? Simple. And if you want to change the credential, you can change. So the uses of these things, suppose you are developing a large project, and that time if you just use these things in every page, and when you're going to move your application into different server, that time you need to change every place. So the connection related thing will have a single file, so that in a one file we can change and we can affect all those things from all places, all right? So now the thing is, if I just going to access this con, is it accessible? No, actually in module concept says you need to export this module you need to export your variables, or you need to export your data, right? So this is the module export concept, and if you want to hide some data, you can hide in this way. So you can set a permission whether your variable will accessible from other place or not. So simply I just want to set the access of the connection, so simply write module dot exports equal to con, so that we can get access from all this, right? So just check whether it's working or not. So simply write select star from students, and let's see. So just go here and let's check. So we are getting records, that means it's working fine. So it will work in this file also. So now how we can join? So there are basically three types of joining. So one is basically inner join, and then there is a left join, and there is a right join, right? So this is all about the MySQL concept. Still I am saying you, inner join means suppose you have two tables, student table and department table. So when you just going to create a inner join relationships, that means the common things will appear. So here you can see in the students table we have there 2 1 3 2, this is the department ID. So only that record will get whether this ID is present or not in the department table, right? So here you can see the 4 is electrical, it will not appear. Also it will not appear because it's not related to department ID. That means only inner things will appear, means directly joined by each other, right? So how can you do the inner join? So simply just write select, and I want to fetch a data from student's name. So simply write students dot name as student name, and then write students dot email, and I want to fetch student department, right? So simply just use the table, that is department dot name as a student department. So I just make it aliases name because here in the department table have a name and student table have a name, so that there will have no conflict. So it will come from students, and then just use the inner join. So this is the keyword to join inner join. So simply write inner join department on department.id. So here you can see department.id equal to students.department.id equal to students.dpt.id, right? So now this is the query. So if you check here, so simply clear this and let's run this node. Here my file name is join.js, so just enter. We are getting this record only. This is the 1 2 3 4 5 4 because we are getting this record only. Here the John have no relationship with department, so it will not appear, and in the 4 they have a no relationship between the students table, so these are not appearing. So only those data appears which are directly related to each other. So this is the inner join concept. Now what is left join? Left join means, suppose if I take students as a left table and department as a right table, then always in the left join all the left table data will appear and only the related data will appear from the right table. That means if I use left join and from students is the left table, that means always it will get all the records from the students table and only that data will appear from the right table, that means department, right? So this is null, that means there will get no department name, but as it is a value, as it has a department ID, so that it will get the department name. So how can I do this? Simple, very simple. So instead of inner join, just write left and let's see the difference. So here just close this and right here, and we can see there is 5 records, 1 2 3 4 and 5, and here you can see all the students have a department and it's coming accordingly, but here in the John there is no department allocated, but still it's coming with a null value, right? So this is the left join, and the reverse thing of left join is a right join. That means from the right side of table all data will appear and the related table or related data will appear from the left table, right? So just change the left to right, so simply right and then run this again and you will get the things changing. So here you can see these are appearing, and here you can see the 1 2 3 4 5 records, and here you can see the electrical is appear but the student name and email is null. That means you can see in the ID 4 in electrical there is no student allocated. So as we are using right join, that means right table data appear, and if there is no left table data it will print as null. So this is basically the joining concept in MySQL, and we can see how we can do with Node.js. So hope you will like this and we can understand from this video how to install MySQL, how package.json is working, and how to initialize Npm, and how to create database tables, and how to connect with MySQL with Node, and there is insert, update, select, delete query, and also the joining query. So hope you will like this video, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. And next day we are going to start with MongoDB connection with Node.js. So please like and subscribe this channel for upcoming video like this, right? Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.